Phil Hogan, former EU Trade Commissioner, is considering seeking compensation and issuing legal proceedings against the EU Commission over his lost job at the EU Commission as the Trade Commissioner. This all in the wake of Golfgate. And I know there's lots of people listening to this who'll be supportive of Phil Hogan and feel Phil Hogan and others were hard done by in the wake of Golfgate, and that he was a big loss at the EU Commission. And that's absolutely fine. It's a point of view that you're entitled to. There is a narrative emerging today, it has to be said, in all the coverage of this, that Phil Hogan lost his job over Golfgate, full stop. I mean, the fact is Phil Hogan lost his job over Golfgate and some other things, and those things matter. Now, Golfgate started it, of course. I think August 20th is when the Examiner broke the story, the headline, the push we all got: Minister and 80 people at golf event in contravention of COVID guidelines. By the 21st, the following day, the axe was already swinging. Derek O'Leary, the Minister for Agriculture, the first to go. Focus fairly quickly shifted to Phil Hogan, who was EU Trade Commissioner at the time. Now, his defence was immediate and it was resolute. He was at Golfgate, he was in the Clifden House Hotel, the Station Hotel. He was at the top table, but he said that he attended assuming that the event was in full compliance with the local restrictions. 5 days later, Phil Hogan was gone. He had resigned as an EU Trade Commissioner. It's what happened in those 5 days, though, where the simple narrative that Phil lost his job over Golfgate begins to fall apart. What doomed Phil Hogan was that over those 5 days, more and more detail emerged about his movements while he was in Ireland. He got to Ireland at the end of July, the 30th of July. He arrived when there was a very clear rule in place for people arriving in this country that they had to self-isolate for 14 days. That applied to Phil Hogan. So for 14 days he had to self-isolate. The following day, the 31st, one day into his 14-day self-isolation, eyewitnesses reported seeing Phil Hogan having dinner in the K Club with other people. 5 days later, Phil Hogan travels to Dublin for a hospital appointment. Now, you can travel during the isolation for medical procedures, but the following day he's spotted back in Kildare, back at the K Club. Again, eyewitnesses report him speaking to people in public areas, like, for example, the bar in the K Club. He then travels to Kilkenny to convalesce after that medical appointment. Then 2 days later, August 8th, Kildare, Laois and Offaly go into a local lockdown. Remember that local lockdown? You couldn't travel out of those counties, and if you were travelling through those counties, you couldn't stop. Phil Hogan travelled through those counties and he did stop. He went back to Kildare from Kilkenny. He went back to the K Club to pick up personal items and work documents. Now, again, if you're a defender of Phil Hogan, you might say those work documents were essential. He certainly said they were essential. But we only know about that trip into Kildare when he stopped because the guards pulled him over for being on his mobile phone while behind the wheel of a car. I mean, this was the problem for Phil Hogan, is that all of this information was coming out in dribs and drabs. And the impression was that he was fighting that flow of information and fighting it to such a degree that his boss, Ursula von der Leyen, the EU Commission President, demanded a full itinerary from him of his movements in Ireland. But ultimately it wasn't enough to save him, because then on the 25th of August another story emerged. Phil Hogan was on the move again on the 13th of August, still during his isolation period, this time a new county, a new province even. He was in Adair in County Limerick playing golf and having dinner. So Golfgate was central to Phil Hogan losing his job. But it wasn't just Golfgate. It was Golfgate and those other things. And the fact is, Phil Hogan did more travelling around Ireland during those 14 days of isolation than the rest of us did in all of 2020. That's why he was out in his rear after 5 days. Not just Golfgate. Anyway, don't let the simple Golfgate narrative become the dominant one. It's important to remember all of the detail, because the detail matters in all of this.